Today we're going to be looking at the 2022 to 2023 edition of the official Mini 4-Wheel Drive Guidebook. So here's the latest Tamiya official Mini 4-Wheel Drive Super Speed Guidebook 2022 to 2023 edition. And it says right here, current machine all catalog, Japan Cup 2022, secret to capturing the difficult section. Yes, cool. Interview with Kota Nezu, and something about the master guide to the production process over here. Pretty cool. Also some information on the Japan Cup 2020 tournament. Yeah, that's it. So we're going to turn the page and we're going to find out what's going on. This says 40th anniversary of Tamiya Mini 4-Wheel Drive cars. So in case you're wondering, I have Google Translate right here, right on this tablet. I'm scanning the pages as I'm turning them. So right here, advertisement, then there's a special dress-up sticker, a whole bunch of great stickers that I took out of the package. And here they are. So as you see here, these round stickers that say Japan Cup 2022, yeah, and the 40th anniversary stickers right here. So what I did with this is I cut out these circles and I placed them on my Mini Cooper as Mini Cooper headlights. Yeah, pretty cool. But you can use these stickers in a more conventional way if you'd like. You can dress them up on your pit boxes. So pretty cool. Let's turn the page. So every one of these official Mini 4-Wheel Drive guides includes some sort of a freebie thing. So this one includes stickers. Let's see what is inside this wonderful book. And here we go. Here's the stickers again. Table of contents. Let's take a look. What's in the table of contents? So we have here the Conquer DX Rolling Circuit 2022. Very cool. We have here current machine all catalog in section 1, chapter 1. We have things about building the Mini 4-Wheel Drive here. Parts, upgrade parts, data library. Pretty cool. We have here, Japan Nationwide Mini 4-Wheel Drive Station, and a champion machine gallery, and a super speed setup by dragging back bouncing straight slope. I don't know what that means, but we're going to find out. So pretty cool. Yay. And stickers, as it says here, and special interview with this guy. Pretty cool. So here's the DX Rolling Circuit 2022. Pretty cool. So let me just flatten this book out a little bit more so you can see. I don't think you're interested in too many of the super details, right? So you can see the pictures right here, what's going on. The startup hill right here, the climb changer, rolling rise, and the tire bridge. Wow, pretty cool. So let's see, are there any special details we should really know about here? Let's find out. It says, requires bank approach at optimal speed. And then this one, it says a new section of a three-dimensional corner that changes and goes up while turning. And then here it says the long straight of the match where the rack and red color shine. So the translation's not exact on Google Translate, but it gets you pretty close. Explanation of the attention section, it says here. Here is a thorough explanation of each section of the DX Rolling Circuit 2022 with photos. Pretty cool. And here we have the rolling fall, the glide bank 45, area D2B. Does it have anything about that? It says the section that tormented racers in 2019 is back. This section right here. Yeah, pretty cool. So what about these parts? It looks like there's some new 2022 parts. There's a J-Cup 2022 Pro and a single shaft version. We have these special orange wheels, which I've seen many. I've seen them all around. Everybody's been buying them up left and right. I've seen these parts. I have a whole slew of these blue parts here. Yay, the J-Cup 2022 carbon plates. Really cool. Okay, guys, you want to get these because any of your cars that have a blue color in them, this will really accent your blue cars very nicely. So black and blue, yeah, it'll go great with black cars, blue cars. Yeah, even cars that complement blue will be good with that too, like red. So here we have, what's this gentleman's name? Mr. Sato. Yes, and this is his car right here. It says rolling rise is tough on the inside lane. The point is how to get through digital dragging back, ideal for flying together. The innermost part has no, and the angle is tight, so it's a struggle. Okay, so yeah, these professional racers here, their cars like, okay, let me tell you this. Whatever cars we build here in the US, we're probably all pretty good building these cars, or maybe you're not, maybe just started, but all of the racers here who've been racing for a number of years are all pretty good. But I would say that these guys here, race, that this is their life. So they're going to know all the little subtleties of Mini 4-Wheel Drive racing. So they're going to know some things that we don't know here. They're going to be studying things very thoroughly that we would never even consider here. So it's pretty cool that they have these people here being interviewed in this magazine, and they're showing us like some tips and tricks and hints about how they make their cars faster, more stable, etc. So this is Tomoya Ito, and this is his car right here. And let's see what it says right here. Sorry for the overlap of my screen over this one. It says, point number 1, need rollers to prevent going off course. Well, duh. And then second, think of it as a series rather than a single section. The startup hill is 2 laps where the speed increases. It is difficult to fly cleanly, it says. So yeah, he's got that little weight thing in the back. I mean, many of you probably have something a similar setup to this anyway. Polycarbonate body, shaved tires, and these little 17mm rollers here. Is it 17mm? I think it's 17mm. So they're slightly smaller than 19mm ones. And yeah, pretty cool. So here, going down here, the Top Racer, Real Top Racer Japan Cup 2022. And here is an interview with Yoneyama Shuka. And it says here, if you slow down and run, you can complete the course and have fun. So remember, guys, when you're racing on a mini 4-wheel drive track, it's not always about speed. Sometimes you can win with a slower car that's more stable, rock solid. So all of the speed racers, they're going to be trying to compete against one another, and they'll probably course out 1 or 2 of them. So if you have a more stable car, you might be able to win your heat against them. So pretty cool. And this is a very slick looking car. I really like that gradient purple and pink thing going on here. It says jumping over or landing is the turning point of area D2B. So that's his car, D2B. No, that's the track part over here, D2B. So right here, it's the one that everybody had problems with in 2019. Okay, some description of the event itself, results. And we've got, what is this? Is this the winner? All racers start from fumbling. No, yeah, it says JC Shizuoka tournament starts from the state of fumbling. The opening with all the racers. This is some really weird translation, by the way, everybody. So yeah, don't trust everything that I'm reading right off of this Google Translate thing. It says setting the section victory and checking the battery pays off. Yes. So make sure that you change your batteries every now and again during your race if you feel you need a little slight boost in power. So a lot of you know that the way I've described my wins, I would basically race like with mediocre batteries for the first few laps, and then afterwards I would just like rev them up. I just use more powerful batteries, and people would wonder like, hey, where'd that car come from? Why is she so good now? It's because I just changed the batteries. Like, I didn't show my hand, so to speak. If you're playing cards and you'll know about showing your hand, right? Don't show your hand all the time. Just keep it to yourself how fast your car really is, and when it's time, when you feel you're ready, then show your stuff. Wow, that's another cool looking car right here, purple yellow car, and this is a Thundershot spec car by Koketsu, Shizuoka Prefecture. Okay, so favorite machine, Thundershot Mark II Clear Special, Lightning Magnum Backblender. Cool. So it says here, he said in advance that it would be a speed game in terms of layout. Therefore, I used the fastest motor for the test run by getting used to the Mach-Dash motor every day. Also, I noticed that the orientation of the vehicle when entering various ropes is very important. Various ropes. I guess various laps is what they mean. So pretty cool. And here are some other race cars here. Very cool. Let's get through some more of this. Interview with this guy. I suppose he won this whole thing, right? Let's see. Current machine, all catalog, and there's an interview with this red-haired guy. Okay, cool. So let's take a look at what we have here. So, this is the Super Avante in RC format. Pretty cool. And here is a current catalog of all the mini 4-wheel drive cars, all in different categories of what their chassis are. FMA chassis right here. Pretty cool. So yeah, everyone, if you're watching this video, you can always pause the video and then you can take a look at what's going on here. Like, you can take a look at everything that's on these pages. So just pause if you want to see. If you see something that you like seeing, then pause it and take a look at it. You can probably scan it with your phones too, your Google Translates, and then you can see what specs, what features they have. But in general, you can tell, like, this is 4.2 to 1 gear ratio, right? This one says 5 to 1 gear ratio. I mean, it's pretty easy to figure out what most of these things mean. 2015, 2011, that's the year they came out, things like that. So, and the model number too, pretty cool. So yeah, it's not too hard to figure out what most of this says. And really, the rest of it is just like the title of each car, right? And okay, so I have a love-hate relationship with these clear cars here. It's like, these are nice starter kit cars, but they're overpriced for what they are, and I wish they were like cheaper. I wish they came in like kit form like all the rest of the cars, but they don't. And unfortunately, they want something like $22 a car here in the US versus versus some of the kits that you can buy for like $14, $15. So I don't think that's a fair price when you charge more for basically the same kind of car. So anyway, chapter 2, build. So let's see what it says here under build. So we've got an upgraded parts data library. So I'm thinking that, yeah, there's like some grayed up parts. This is a grayed up parts catalog, or maybe some tips and tricks on how to add things to your car. Let's take a look. So it says here, okay, Super Speed Machine Assembly Technique. So they are trying to show you how to add this VZ parts kit that you can purchase as a separate item. And this right here, you can see it's item number 15526, the VZ Chassis Grade Up Parts Kit. You can add it to any VZ kit using these tools, and it gives you an idea of what to do to make your car faster. Pretty cool. So, well, what to do to make this car faster? Don't use it. just get a 3.5 to 1 gear ratio car, and you'll be all set. So this one with the funky big tires and the kind of wonky parts that come with it, it's a specialty car. I'm not going to knock on it too much, but I feel that this is the type of car where you need to do a tune class car or open class for it to really shine. If you use this as a basic box stock car, you're probably not going to win too many races. So here, what is this talking about? This is talking about the difference between the front and the rear wheels, perhaps? Yeah, the front and rear wheel differences, speed gear stuff. What's here? Oh, using this little ball peen hammer to knock your shaft into the wheel itself. So what I like to use, instead of buying that for lots of money, you can just use your standard pliers. And I've got this rubber grip right here. And this is what I use to gently tap that shaft right into the wheel right there. So yeah, you don't need to purchase a specialty ball peen hammer for that sort of thing. It's just not worth it. So what else? Oh yeah, this is the 4.2-1 gear, and they're showing you how to lubricate the shaft that goes into this gear. So again, 3.5 to 1 gear ratio cars are just going to flat out beat this in box stock. So if you want to use this in tune class and you upgrade it to a tune class car, you'll probably have a good chance of winning with it. But otherwise, it's just going to be very hard to win under box stock category with the Lured Spirit, and Lured Knight, and all those other Lured cars. So here we go. It's showing you how to add these parts to it. It's a nice distinctive orange color. That's kind of implying that maybe you should pair it with this torque tune motor. Pretty cool. And here, for all those people who love the Neo VQS, here it is, yes, in a nice fancy red form. Yeah, very cool. Now remember, you can purchase your kits, right? You can purchase a standard kit that might have like a black body shell, and you can always paint these things the way you want them to be painted. You don't have to necessarily match all the colors that are on the box. You don't necessarily have to build these cars with the color schemes that are on the box. They are just a suggestion. You can change the colors, you can design, you can put gradient colors on them, you can do whatever you want to make your cars look uniquely you, and that's what it's all about. Try to make your car something unique, something different, something that nobody else has. That's the fun of Mini 4-wheel drive, customizing your car so that it's uniquely yours. So here we have this is one of the Pro chassis. It looks like it's an MA chassis right here, and it's talking about the different colored gears they are. So this is a 4-to-1 gear, this is 3.5 to 1, this is the fastest gear on this. Not necessarily the best on one of these Pro chassis. Usually a lot of the cars come with this 4-to-1 gear ratio. Then there's this 3.7. That's a very interesting thing right here, because 3.5 to 1 is all about speed, 4-to-1 this is all about torque, and 3.7 is that heavenly mixture between super speed and high torque. So 3.7 to 1, if you can get that and put it in a tune class car, you're probably going to do really well with your car. Yes, and I have proof right there of that, because this right here is a 3.7 to 1 gear ratio car, and this is capable of beating many more expensive cars out there, more intricately designed cars. So this is like, I like to call this a piece of junk, but it's actually a very sophisticated kind of car for what it is, considering the fact that I built this thing out of car catcher material. Like, who does that, right? Nobody. So maybe T. Hiroki, and that's it. So yeah, like I think he stopped building stuff with this, and then I was like, you know what, I'm going to continue designing my cars with this, and we're just going to see how far we can go. And so I have here other cars that also use that same concept, and this one's, instead of back to front, this is a front to back one, and this has won some good races too. And my newest car here, this is also another back to front, And yeah, pretty cool. So yes, so make your car uniquely your own. That's what it's all about. Mini four-wheel drive, you are trying to design cars that you can be proud of, that are uniquely you, that you will be like honored to race because they're your cars, right? Why are you copying? Why? I don't understand people who copy other people's designs. It just doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, like, what are you going to gain by that? You think you're going to learn anything? Like, you learn the most by experimenting with the parts that you have and just testing your cars over and over and over again. If you don't do that, if you just want to copy somebody else's design and you want to go out and race, you might win a race here and there. You might win a whole bunch of races, but you're not getting the experience that you need to be able to tackle any kind of track. So yeah, I really, really advise testing and experimenting your parts on your cars by yourself so you can learn what each part really does, how it will help you, the advantages and disadvantages of each part, things like that. So try not to copy other people's designs. Use their design as like a starting point. And then from that point on, then you can build upon your knowledge there. And you're going to have a super fast car, super stable car in no time. Yes. Oh, and always race humble. Remember, there are some braggarts out there that will boast about how good they are, how fast they are, how stable their cars are. But the truth of the matter is, if they're just copying other people's designs, what fun is that? That's soulless racing, I call it. S-O-U-L, soulless racing. If you want to feel good about winning a race, you're going to do it with your car, not somebody else's car. So here, parts catalog. Here we go. All the different rollers that are available right now. And probably these things here describe a little bit about what's going on here. Oh, so this is the 9mm ball bearing rollers. This is the 11. This is the 13. And these three are perhaps my favorite rollers to use out of all of these rollers. And here's why. These are heavy duty rollers. If you use these, okay, it's going to add a little more weight than these rollers here, the thin ones. But these spin so much better than these. Why? Because this entire thing is a ball bearing roller. The ball bearing's in the center of this roller. So this is going to have direct contact with the wall. This one, right, these rollers with the little bearings, these outer ridges, the outer rims of the rollers, that's what's contacting. And then there's like, I can't explain it too well other than you don't have that direct one-to-one contact between the edge of the ball bearing, the roller itself, and the wall. So this gives you a more direct contact with the surface of the wall. When you rub it against the wall, such as here, let's use this as an example. Ball bearing against this, there's direct contact, ball bearing roller to the wall. Here, on the back ones, you don't have that one-to-one direct contact. There's stuff that's lost between the center of the bearing and the outer edge. So I can't really explain that too well. I wish I was a physicist. Sorry about that. So yeah, people have ragged on me for not knowing the laws of physics when I'm doing all this stuff, and you know what? I learned all of these things myself so that I can recreate what I learned. I was an honors student in physics in high school, everybody. Come on. So I know a thing or two about physics. So so here we go. We have here carbon plates. Pretty cool. All the different carbon plates that are available. There are some funky looking ones too. And yeah, some little notes about each. Wheels right here. Pretty cool. And we have sponge brakes right here. And mass damper weights right here, polycarbonate shells, the different types of screws that are available, fasteners of all sorts, batteries. Oh yeah, and here's one thing that I didn't think too much of long ago, but I know that this is definitely much more useful and helpful to use than simply taking this pair of pliers and plucking the pinion gear right off of the motor. So using this thing is probably a much safer way of removing the pinion gear. And here's a motor box, but I'm going to tell you something, a big flaw of the motor box. And it's not the fault of Tamiya necessarily, it's more like a fault of, so it's not a fault of the design of the motor box, it's just a fault of like what you use to clean your motors. So as you see here, my box is severely warped. I had to basically push down on it and lean down on it with like a heavy weight to be able to keep it flat or reasonably flat, but it just springs back up again in this kind of warped form right here. So yeah, there are techniques to flatten this out. You could basically put it in a big pot of boiling water, soften it up, and then you can take it out and just this part, the lid, you can put it on the ground and flatten it out with a really heavy book, and it'll eventually get flat again. But once you put this the box lid back on, over time it's just going to warp like this again. So what's happening? Why is it warping like this? Well, all of the cleaners that I've used in my motors, all of the carbon cleaners and those electronic cleaners and things like that, they emit vapors, fumes. Voodoo oil vapors and fumes are emitted from the motor. After you use them, you put them back in this box, all these fumes are coming out, and it's warping this box. That's basically what's happening here. Now, let me show you what I do with my motors here, which you might find interesting. I actually mark them with how fast they are. So this one here, 28, signifies 28,000 RPM, 27 for 27,000 RPM. I have a V, meaning I venom tuned it with water tuning and voodoo oil. Here I have, what is it, a 43. Here, it's so faint, it's got oil on it. It rubbed it off, I think. This was supposed to be 44. Here's a Sprint Dash motor that was going at 45. And here is an old, very old Hyper Dash motor, 32,000 RPM. This is that. Remember the original Hyper Dash motors? Here we go. The black Hyper Dash. Pretty cool. So yeah, this kind of tells you how long I've been like an avid enthusiast of mini four-wheel drive cars. This motor here. So yeah, pretty cool. So yeah, I basically place the motor box inside the pit box, one of the pit box containers, and I just close it up right here, and I hope for the best. It just like flattens out here like this. It fits in there. There's like the way these guys, Tamiya, designs all of these things here. You can put not this whole box, but you can put these things inside this as well. So take a look at this. If anything, okay, so you might say to yourself, why are you making me watch this for like well over almost half an hour now? So here it is. It's the tips and tricks that you learn in videos like this, right? So all of my videos contain tips and tricks. If you don't watch my videos all the way through, you're not going to learn these tips and tricks, and you're going to miss out on a lot of valuable information. So I advise you to watch each video from beginning to end. That's how you'll learn everything. So if you feel bored and you don't want to listen, then of course you're just not going to learn as much as someone who actually faithfully watches everything from beginning to end. I want you to watch everything from beginning to end. It helps me, it helps you. Like, we all benefit from all of this. So here we go. You can put your 2 compartment containers in here, close it up, and you still have room to spare up here. Pretty cool. You can put other things like tools in here. Yes, so you don't have to be carrying around this box, because this box will not fit into this thing right here, as you see. It just doesn't fit. But you can take the insides out and it'll fit. And here, if you wanted to carry this, look there, you've got room for a tool, maybe. So a very thin tool. So yeah, you can fit some things in there. Pretty cool. So I'm going to place this back in. As you see here, I've got, I always place it this side up. So this is where the opening is. Close it up. And I've got my, what have I got here? I've got a shaft straightener, a wheel shaft straightener. No, a wheel shaft straightener. And also this is a cutter for sponge brakes by Project D. Pretty cool. So I try to lay them as flat as possible in here so I can put more things in there if I wanted to. And I close it up just like that. Pretty cool. So let's continue on with what's in this guidebook. So here are different containers right here. You can see right there, there's one of them should be the motor case. Yeah, pretty cool. And what's this? Ooh. Oh, they're talking about how to make an AT bumper. Cool. Very cool. And here are the parts you need to make the AT bumper right here. Very cool. And here's the method for creating an AT bumper. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with these FRP plates. These are the fiberglass reinforced plates, and these actually can break more easily than carbon plates. So if you can, I advise you to get carbon plates instead of using these FRP plates, because these can warp over time. These can seriously warp if you end up soaking them. Now, okay, nobody's going to take electronics cleaner, spray their car, and then hope that they soak these things so that they warp. No, nobody's going to be that dumb. But if you clean your rollers with electronics cleaner or other liquid type things, and you accidentally get some onto an FRP plate, over time this is going to warp. So by accident, getting that liquid on here, it's just going to warp this over time. Carbon plates are stronger in that regard. They will not warp as easily as these FRP plates. I don't think they warp at all, to be quite honest. I've sprayed my carbon plated cars many times, not on purpose, but by accident, with electronics cleaner and other cleaning fluids, and it's still fine. The carbon plates are strong and solid and stable, and that's why they cost more than FRP plates. Now, there are some people who will claim that, oh yeah, the FRP plates, they have advantages over carbon plates, and well, I call BS on that. So, and some people will go, well, you've never won in a totally competitive race, so you don't know. I beg to differ. So, because by poking fun of me, you also poke fun of all the racers that I competed against. So, I know what I say is true, so listen very carefully, everybody, to all of my words, because they are the words of wisdom. So, and I don't say that in any boastful way. I say that with experience behind me, and I say that with a lot of patience in all that I do. You see how much care I take building my cars. You see how much care I take in presenting you all of these videos and describing everything about the cars, the wins, even my losses. I've described them all to you. And why? It's because it's a learning process. I want you to learn from me. I want you to be able to take away some things from each video so that you can apply them to your own racing and you can get better too. So yeah, that's what it's all about. So here we have step-by-step how to make an AT bumper. For all of you people out there who had questions about this, you must get this magazine if you want to build your very first AT bumper. Now, I have my own designs of AT bumper. I use things like this as sort of like a starting point. I study it, I read the pages, and I say things like, oh yeah, well that seems pretty cool that I can like bend this thing like this. And I'm sure it's pretty good as a beginning kind of AT style bumper, but for me, I think this rubber band approach isn't always the most solid thing. It's probably good for like 5 races before things start kind of like untorquing with the rubber band material. So it's better to use something like a metal part instead of a rubber part whenever you're designing an AT bumper. That's my 2 cents and my opinion anyway. So here, yeah, there we go, the electric handy router. Let me say again, this is probably going to be one of the most useful tools. It looks like a toy, doesn't it? It looks like a little toy gun. First of all, don't touch this while you press this. It's not good news, let's put it that way. You want to lock this so that your children or younger friends don't press this accidentally and drill somebody's skin or eye with this thing, because this could be bad news. So yeah, luckily there's a locking mechanism on here. This is for basically creating holes, countersunk holes in your carbon plates. It is the most useful tool that you can buy for doing this kind of thing, because if you don't get this thing, you can get something like this, which is a lot cheaper, but you'll get a lot more aggravation using it. This right here, which is a little like $5 or $7 tool that I got from AliExpress. And yeah, as you see here, it's got that little tip on the end. It's much bigger than this one. And I'm drilling the holes, and I'm like manually drilling. But here's the problem with this. I'm going to tell you the reason why you don't want to use this in a professional capacity. And it's going to make a lot of sense when I tell you. Okay, here's a plate. When I'm drilling manually, I'm drilling and drilling and drilling. I end up not drilling vertically down. Sometimes I'll tilt to one side, the other side, this way, that way. And so your drilling mechanism, you're turning this device, this tool, it's not going to give you a straight line through. This thing, you have more control over that countersunk hole that you're creating. You can just hold it in one place. You can put it on the table. You can just start drilling by pressing the button, and it will drill a hole pretty much in a straight line down into the carbon plate. And that's so much better than trying to like guess where you're supposed to be. Like, you're supposed to be drilling straight with this. You're just supposed to try to turn this in a straight way, but you never do with this thing. So yeah, I suggest that you purchase the electric handy router if you can. And they're not paying me to do this. Tamiya is not paying me to endorse any of their products. I just like this goofy little tool. Yeah, it looks like a toy. You have to build this too. It's a kit also, but it's kind of an expensive kit for $35 plus $7 for this thing. So it's $42 for this goofy little thing that looks like a toy gun. Yeah, tune class and open class cars, it's probably the best tool toy that you can get. Yeah. So here, as you see, one of my other pit box compartment boxes contains all of the hand tools that I have right here. Or most of them anyway, not all of them. I have different kinds of screws here, countersunk screws, rubber piping. Yeah, these are all the parts that I took, the spare screws and countersunk screws that I took out of old tune class and old open class cars. And there's like a little wrench right there and a socket thing for the lock nuts. Yeah, pretty cool. Okay, moving right along, we completed the AT bumper. There we go, instructions. It's a lot of instructions. Now we move on to design things like, I think this is like how to paint this properly, right? So here we have, it shows you how to mask your polycarbonate shells so that you could block out certain parts that you don't want painted on it. So yeah, it's showing you the spray painting technique. Oh, by the way, everybody, this is very, very important. If you are painting polycarbonate shells, that's going to require a different paint than if you were to paint hard plastic shells. So, what do I mean by that? This is a hard plastic shell, like the smock frame right here. So polycarbonate shells are these very flexible, bendable. They're usually clear, but in this one case, it's a carbon design on here, which is nothing more than a sticker I found out. This is actually not really carbon reinforced. It just has a carbon pattern on it. So, but anyway, these flexible polycarbonate shells, as you see here, is very bendy. So this requires a different paint than this. Now, for the longest amount of time, I was like, oh yeah, I'll just get one kind of paint. I'll just spray paint everything with that one kind of paint. No, don't do that. Because if you paint your polycarbonate shells with regular paint, what you're going to end up finding is every time this crashes into the ground or into a wall after it courses out, it's going to chip away at the paint. So with polycarbonate paint, it's more likely, the paint is more likely going to stay on. Yes, pretty cool. So go get separate polycarbonate paints for your polycarbonate shells, and you can't go wrong. Pretty cool. So here, yep, more about masking and spray painting, and they even have airbrushing. Some people like these kinds of like airbrushed techniques that you can do on certain on polycarbonate shells. A lot of people can get very creative with their designs. So what's in section 3? Chapter 3, we've got, it says, there is no super fast machine without racing. Japan Nationwide Mini 4-Wheel Drive Station 28. How to make a Mini 4-Wheel Drive Super Speed Guide. Okay, so here, let's turn, lots of people being interviewed and talking here. So these are some of the participating racers here, and they interviewed them, and pretty cool, some pictures from the racing event. And different classes. So they have a family class, trial class. They have, I think it said junior class, open class, and probably the champions class. Cool. And I think this is like a price for them, isn't it? The 500. Yeah, I think this is. It's probably a price. Anyway, let's go continue trying. And here, they had races from 1988 to 2017. And do they have like prize money that you can win? Is that what it is? No, it says over 15,000 participants in the 1988 Japan Cup. 2012 revived for the first time in 13 years. So there was a big hiatus between 1999 and 2012 when they just didn't have any Japan Cup races at all. Can you imagine a world without Japan Cup races? We need Japan Cup races. So here it says a detailed report on the flow from reception to the race. This is the machine that I am proud of. And here's a married couple and they have their Mini 4-wheel drive cars. Pretty cool. Yeah, it'd be cool if I can find a boyfriend who liked Mini 4-wheel drive stuff, right? Of course there are lots. And they have to like things I like besides Mini 4-wheel drive. So let's see what's here. Looks like store of... But which store is this? Whoa. Mini 4-wheel drive stations all over Japan. This is the shop where you can enjoy Mini 4-wheel drive to your heart's content. Pretty cool. So it looks like most of the store is the selling area, and there's a section of it that looks almost like storage space that they use for the track itself. Pretty cool. Oh, and those of you who know about my races, I've been holding them indoors for a while now during the colder months. And so I've converted my living room into basically into a Mini 4-wheel drive event track. So yeah, I have different tracks every month, and they're always really challenging. And some of the tracks end up being as long, if not longer, than some of the outdoor tracks that I've created and designed. So these are different model shops that hosted these races. Pretty cool. There are a lot of them. Wow, look at that. I would just like to go to Japan and just go to any one of these shops to race my car. That'd be cool. What is this? This has got the alligator wheels on it. So is this like the design contest? Let's see. How to make a... It says, take a close look at the machine that is the ultimate in beauty. Very cool. So this must be some sort of online contest winner. New Era Grand Prize. So besides Mini 4-wheel drive racing, they also have Mini 4-wheel drive design events. And so if you design a car that looks really fantastic, you can win a prize on that as well. So I think the next bunch of pages here just, basically show you things that people have done to make their cars look really, as they call them, elegant, very beautiful. So pretty cool. And these kinds of cars here, they're not necessarily for racing. Like some people race them, but others just like to put them on their bookshelves. And so, yeah, would you really want to get something like that dirty on a racetrack? I mean, it'd be fun, right, for a little bit, but maybe on your own racetrack, right? But would you want to get like grease and dust and all that stuff on there? No. So, okay, so what's going on here? This is from 2021, and I think, are these the winners from that? Let's see. The Sendai Tournament, 2021. Cool. Let me put this, go Google Translate down, and it looks like here, winning cars perhaps? Yes, winning cars from the different classes. Let's see, yep, the different tournaments that they had. These were the winners from all of these little mini tournaments. Pretty cool. As you see here, each of these people have their own unique, interesting designs that don't copy off of one another. So like I said before, you want to do this in one way only. You want to learn from your mistakes. So if you put various parts on and things don't work out very well, that's okay. That's a learning process. Then you know not what to do next time. You know to try to change the parts, try to rebalance the car, try to do something else that's a little different to make your car better, faster, stronger. So copying somebody else's design, like, that's not fun. I don't think it's fun. And over time, you're just gonna get bored with copying somebody else. So very cool profiles of the racers, very, very cool. Here's more information about that section that people just couldn't get past last time. Very, very cool. What's this? Ah, it's even more detailed description of that part. Yeah. A section whose character changes depending on the combination of before and after. Oh. So the implication seems to be where you jump determines where you land, and that could be very challenging for a lot of racers because of this weird angles that's going on here, the weird hills right here. Yeah, that would be very challenging to a lot of American racers here. So yes, and here we go, final pages. This is what I call the box stock killer, right? So I'm not going to say it's a true box stock killer, but it's a really fast car. If you build this, it's going to be lightweight, it's going to be fast, it's a VZ chassis, and depending on the track, this is going to win you a lot of races. So pretty cool, pretty cool. And that's it, advertisement, and that's the end. Yay! So this was the official guidebook, the Super Speed Guide 2022 to 2023. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please slam the like button, subscribe to my channel. You'll see more videos just like this one. Until next time, everybody, see you, bye.